I tried to find the top five jobs for foreigners in South Korea. And I tried using Gemini as my go to search LLM for research and everything. And they provided me five. I'm not so sure if this is still the top five, but based on Gemini, those students who graduate from bachelor's, master's, or PhD in South Korea are actually more inclined to go into these fields. So if you're so number one is they say it's IT or technology related software development, data science, IT infrastructure, game development is also very big. And I believe this is a correct list. It's one of the top careers for foreigners in South Korea because Korea is an IT country. It's a technology country, so that's correct based on how I see it. Aside from that, also a lot of scholarships are geared towards IT and technology, so that also made sense. But if you're from countries like that are noted by Korea as a natural native English speaking country, the US, Canada, Australia, South Africa. The other one is UK, and I'm not so sure. I'm not sure with the complete list, but if you're under those countries, you're eligible to teach English as a teacher here in South Korea. And some would tend to be assistant professors. These are also common tracks. Sorry about that. And aside from that, there are also a lot of research fellows. So if you are from an engineering or science based major, this track is a possibility for you. After completing your degree, your master's degree, there are tendencies for university professors to hire you as a researcher. So you completed your master's degree, you defended your thesis, but there's still a project or funding. You can continue as a researcher and hire you full-time researcher. That's the second, actually related to education. And then I think third is one of the most go-to route for a lot of international students is actually related to business and management. So if you're a marketer, if you are into international management, multicultural corporations, startups, there is a high chance that if you want to stay in Korea, you'll be employed into one of these industries. And for example, one big market is for remittance. I have a lot of friends, good friends, who are working with good companies under remittance. And it's a must because Korea is trying to invite more foreigners to work in South Korea, and how they send money is through remittance. So it's a booming market. Um, Also, marketing is very big because Korean market is very saturated, but the international market, that's where they can actually benefit hiring foreigners. And that's where the English and Korean speaking skill works. So if you are fluent in both languages, you'll be able to find a lot of good jobs. And yeah, there are also jobs under healthcare and biotechnology, but majority of these jobs fall under the education or researcher because they would hire a lot of researchers in terms of, for example, cancer prevention, cancer cure, related to heart and everything. And I think the last big market for foreigners, especially for European market, for European country, is actually the entertainment, arts, and culture media industry. If you've heard about E6 visa, I'm not a visa expert, but I usually hear this visa E6. This is for entertainment visa. So you can do a lot of entertainment related activities. For example, modeling, going out in different Korean drama, acting, design. So these are very big. Fun fact, I used to come out as one of an extra. I did these gigs when I was studying. And I was so worried back then because I thought this was an illegal job. But fortunately, based on the guidelines from GKS, since it's not a contract, a regular activity, but more of a like a volunteer type of scheduling wherein, for example, if I'm available, I do it. It was not illegal. But these types of jobs, for example, one day whole shooting, I was able to come up in, if you're familiar with casino or big bet, I was one of the, I used to play as a waiter there. I came out as a policeman, but very fun experience, and I was able to earn money and be able to save money to buy my gadgets, my school activity, my school requirements, my school tools like laptop, everything. So I'm very thankful for that, even if I don't have E6 visa, because for that during that time it's not as regular as a regular part-time job. So just a fun fact. But yeah, if you're very much interested working in South Korea, these are the top 5 industries that you can look forward to and probably see yourself fitting into. And actually, if you are already experienced in one of these fields, you can actually go directly to South Korea without studying and shooing in based on your competencies. But if you're thinking of that, the best way for you to do is actually study Korean language. So there are a lot of students go to South Korea not to get a degree, but to learn the language because there's a very big market in this very old society. And yeah, it's a very quick discussion. So we have again probably just a quick recap: IT technology, education, international business, marketing management, healthcare, lastly, multimedia arts, acting, culture. These are top 5 of industries for foreigners in South Korea. And if you want to know more about the life in South Korea, how to fit in the Korean culture, not just in the culture, but also the Korean working culture, continue following and watching my videos. And till then, bye bye.